Hello and welcome. Fantastic to have you here. Now we have got another brilliant session on today for nuts and bolts. This one is all about the 10 danger signs that your team don't really care about their job or where they are, and then what you need to do to change that. So we've all been in the situation where we've had a team of people and there might be one, two or more that just seem to do the bare minimum. They've got no motivation, they don't go the extra mile, they seem bored, they're doing the bare minimum of their own job and then the rest of the time filling it up with their own personal stuff. So those sorts of team members, we're going to talk about those today. And if you haven't recognised them, I'm going to show you what the 10 danger signs are that maybe your team is becoming unhappy and are becoming disengaged and demotivated, and then what you can do about it. So what are the 10 danger signs to watch out for? Now, number one, you're going to notice a difference in punctuality and reliability. So, they'll be taking extended lunch hours, or they'll be going on extended breaks, or they might be coming in late or leaving early. Those sorts of things will start to become more regular. And that's one of the danger signs to look for. Number two, you'll notice that you'll get more absenteeism, more sick days. Now, when people are unhappy at work, that often impacts their mood, impacts their obviously depression levels, anxiety, all that sort of stuff starts to become more present. So therefore they take more sick days off or become more absent. So this is something to be aware of. So that's the second danger sign to think of. Number three, you might be getting more complaints amongst your employees or amongst your team. So they might be getting a bit cross with each other, a bit niggly with each other, especially if they're not very happy. Oh, he's doing this and she's doing that. And, you need to step in and help us do this. So if that number is increasing, that's a danger sign to watch out for. Number four, if you have got customer-facing teams, maybe you're getting more customer complaints as well. So what do I mean by this? So customers are coming to you and saying, oh, well, this person was really rude, or I didn't get that service, or, if you're getting that sort of complaint coming through at a more regular interval, then you know that this is a danger sign that your team's unhappy and we need to do something about it. Number five, if your top performers are starting to go and look for other work or resigning or looking for somewhere else to, disappear to, whether that's a different department or a different role, then, we need to have a look at that, because our top performers are obviously being impacted by something. Is it your team are unhappy and therefore they don't want to continue with that negativity? It's worth that conversation, but that's another thing to watch out for. You'll also notice, and number six is this reduction in synergy. So the team won't be working together very well. They won't be communicating very well. There'll be lots of disagreements, those sorts of stuff. So any sort of synergy or teamwork that you had before will start to degrade. So that's another watch out. Number seven, no one's having fun anymore. So no one's sort of, in the lunchroom, having a few laughs, talking about their weekend, getting involved in conversations together. That's all sort of died down. And if you notice that, then you'll probably find you've got an unhappy team on your hands and we need to do something about it. Number eight, silence. So if there is a mistrust or if there is a breakdown in relationships, a lot of people will withdraw and they'll go into silence mode or avoidance mode. So if you see that happening, then that is a watch out sign and a danger sign that you need to be aware of. Number nine, look at the visual clues. If there's excessive gossiping or grumbling or people whining or moaning or whinging and all that sort of stuff, then you've got to think, okay, well, there's something going on here that I need to sort of investigate a bit further, because that's something that you need to be aware of, and it is definitely a danger sign. And if you have, the last one, the 10th one, is if you have an engagement survey. And some companies do these on an annual basis, perhaps. If you have an engagement survey and it comes back and there is lots and lots of sort of gaps or negativity compared to a couple of years before, then this is something that certainly we have to take on board and have some action planning to do, because that is absolutely a beacon telling you that something's wrong and that we need to do something about it. So there's the sort of 10 danger signs that I want you to be aware of. And I think, by the time you get to that 10th one, you would hopefully already know. What we want to avoid where we don't see this happening. So don't sit in that ivory tower. Don't sit in your office for hours and hours on end. Make sure every day you go walking around with your team, have a chat to them, connect with them, doing all those sorts of things, because this is where you're going to pick up those little clues, and we can try and nip it in the bud early before it gets to the point where it's in your engagement survey. Okay, but anyway, so what do we need to do? Remember, keep your relationship with your team members going, okay? Continue doing your one-on-ones. Continue doing your management by walking around. Keeping that relationship going. If you can see one or two people are starting to get less happy, are starting to disengage, are starting to create more poor performances or poor results, you can pull those people in early and have that conversation. What's going on? What can I support you with? What's happening here that we need to do differently? So those are sort of things that you need to do, and you need to do that by walking around and checking things are going. So that's the first one. Don't lose sight of that personal touch. It really, really makes a difference when you're leading a team of people. Number 2, have a think about yourself. Are you under continual stress? Are you feeling under pressure? Are you got high anxiety? Are you, feeling really not yourself, not your confident self? Because you might be displaying that in conversations, in non-verbal body language and all that sort of stuff. And remember, you're leading by example. So if they feel your unhappiness, if they feel that, you've got some issues with regards to, the workplace, especially if you've had a bit of a grumble or a whine about the boss or about the latest policy that's come through, then that is going to erode your team as well. That is going to infect your team with that same negativity. So have a look at yourself. Is this how you're behaving? Even whether it's subconsciously, just have a think about, what is my impact on my team, especially if they are watching me every day. What do I need to do differently? So that's another thing. That's the second thing. Number 3, continuously remind your team of their value. Okay, so I want you to bring their value out in the forefront. Hey guys, I know that, we've got this more volume we've got to do this week because of this, that and the other. But I'll tell you what it does. It's allowed the organisation to do A, B and C. If we can get this volume to them, it increases the reputation, and an increased reputation gets us more customers. More customers gets them better market share. And if we get better market share, we've got more job stability. So, you guys are doing a great job. And so it's always, making them realise that they do value add, not only to that department, but to the organisation as a whole. Really, really important to keep stressing that. Also, reinforce and champion the goals of your department. So if you've got KPIs and goals and, per person, all those sorts of things, make sure you don't lose sight of that, and make sure that's reiterated every day, because everybody wants to know what direction they're moving in and why they're there and the difference they're making and all those sorts of things. So you championing those goals and making them really, really relevant is going to be really important in making sure that that's happened. So number 5, if you're getting a new task or you need to release a new policy or whatever, get the insights of your team. Don't just work on it solo and then just go, hey team, this is what the changes we're going to do now, or this is the new policy that we're going to bring in. Okay, so bring your team together instead and say, hey guys, we need to have a think about a new policy with regards to our personal protective equipment. We've had a couple of instances that makes us realise we need to have a look at that. What are your thoughts? What are your insights? What have you realised on a day-to-day basis that will be able to protect you and keep you safe, or whatever it may be? You know what I mean? So get buy-in from your employees or from your team members first. That means they've got skin in the game and they're more likely to go with whatever that new policy is or whatever that new change is if they've been heard and had a say. This one may seem quite obvious, and it's number 6, but try not to micromanage them. Okay, so we need to still give them space to be able to get their jobs done and all that. If we're reiterating the goals, if we're motivating them with the organisation vision and how they can value add to that, if we're not putting our own stresses or frustrations onto them, we're holding back on those and we're sorting those out internally. They will bounce back. So try not to micromanage, because micromanaging them is just going to exacerbate that situation. Okay, so the other thing is, number 7 is to try and get your team members to take control of their issues. So what happens is, when a team is unhappy, they get more conscious of barriers and blockages in their way, and they get less resilient for knocking them down. So they will be coming to you looking for solutions all the time. So this is your chance to be able to re-empower them and say, okay, you've come to me with this blockage. What do you think we should do? What solutions do you think will happen? What have you done in the past to make that work better? So you're going to give them part of the decision making of the solution. Because you don't want them just to dump stuff on your desk and go, oh, this is a problem. When you fix it, I'll tell me and I'll go and do something. You want them to be part of that solution, part of that fix, part of that problem-solving process. Really, really important to empower them, make them feel like they've got, this is part of their team and this is one of their strengths. So, all right. Ask them what is important to them. So you're going to continue to have one-on-ones with your team members, right? So ask what's important to you. Hey, Jeremy, you've been working here for 5 years. Tell me, what are the things that you really love about this job? Oh, A, B, and C. Okay, that's great. What are the things that you don't really like? So try and understand the things they like, the things they don't like. Also try and understand where they want to go in the job. Is there a career stream they're interested in? Is there another role they're interested in? Is there another department they're interested in? All these things are really, really important for you to keep building that relationship with them, and then you can do the support mechanisms that you need to do as their leader. And we'll talk about that one now in number 9. Number 9 is, for those that do want to, find ways that they can upskill. Find different training programs they can go on. Find them internal mentors or somebody that can help them move in a different direction. As a leader, we're here to build the capability of our team members. And for those team members that want to go and move on to other things, that's great. We should celebrate that and embrace it. Okay, so try and see if we can help them on the career path that really motivates them. And you'll see that person become a lot happier in the workplace because they feel like, there's a direction that they can move in. And the last but not least, number 10, understand that every team, you're going to have plodders. People that just want to do what they need to do. They're not really interested in a career progression. They're not interested in, doing another role or whatever. They're quite happy doing what they're doing. And do you know what? As long as they are getting done what they need to get done and they're not negatively impacting on the other team members, we need to say that's okay. That's okay. We need plotters on the team, people that have got that experience that will be able to just make sure the day-to-day is done and all that sort of stuff. That's okay. And it could be for a number of reasons. Some people are just not ambitious. Other people, they might be in a stage of their life where they just want to be able to do what they do and give themselves mental space to consider, retiring or transitioning into something else, whatever it may be. So just understand that every team are going to have plotters, and as long as they're doing their job and not negatively impacting on the team, that's okay. Let's leave them alone. I think we need, as leaders, to focus our efforts on the ones that do want to make a difference, that we can see we can build their capability and motivate and all those sorts of things. And the other area that you have to focus your efforts on are our underperformers that A, don't care, B, have bad attitudes, C, have really poor behaviours, D, not getting the results that you want. You need to focus your efforts on them to try and either turn them around or put them on the disciplinary path, and then, get them to show cause of why they really need to be there, because they may probably be miserable. And then focus your efforts also on your performers or your people in your team that are looking for different other things that they can move into in 12 months, 18 months or whatever. How can we support them and train them up so they're ready for that transition down the track? So they're the sort of two focuses you should need to concentrate on, and then just praise your plotters when they're getting stuff done and doing what they need to do. So I hope that helped. Remember the 10 danger signs that if your team are unhappy, you need to be aware of them, and we need to nip them in the bud early and think about doing those 10 things. Remember, quickly we'll go over them. Remember, keep that personal touch going. Make sure you touch base with each of your team members all the time. Make sure that you're not stressed out and putting that on your team. We set by example. Remember that. Number 3, making sure that you value your employees and that they know the value that they're adding to the organisation. Number 4, reinforce and champion those goals that you've set for the department. Make sure that they're always there. Everyone wants to contribute to something. Number 5, get buy-in from your team before you elicit a new change or a policy. Number 6, don't micromanage at this point. Okay, it may sound pretty obvious, but don't micromanage at this point. Number 7, make sure that your team members come to you solutions focused, not problem focused. So if they come to you with a problem, ask them, so what have you done in the past? What do we need to do now? Those sorts of things. Number 8, ask them, what's important to you? What do you like about the job? What don't you like about the job? Those things are going to be really important for you to know what you can do to help them. Number 9, look for then ways to upskill and build the capability of those team members that need it. And number 10, understand that you're going to have plotters in your team too. And that's okay. Okay, it's okay to have plotters as long as they're not negatively impacting on the team members and they're actually getting their job done. It's all good. All right, so I hope that helped. I get this question all the time about disengaged employees and how we can help them. The biggest thing you can do is nip it in the bud early. Let's get on the bandwagon early and get these people into a more happier state where they can be more engaged in their working day. All right, so if you've got a question, a burning platform, a problem, an issue, whatever, why don't you contact us here at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com. We will run a video just like this one and we'll send it to you, and hopefully we'll give you some solutions. All right, but until then, bye for now, and we'll see you next Thursday. Cheers. Bye.